Hello, my fellow dreamers. It's Alara. Welcome back to our cozy sanctuary. Tonight, I'm especially thrilled to bring you captivating tales from the mystical realms of Nordic mythology. So, allow yourself to be transported to the enchanting world of Norse gods, heroes, and mythical creatures. Close your eyes, unwind, and join me on this journey through time, where sagas of bravery, magic, and mystery await. The Tale of Idun and Her Golden Apples. In the mystical realm of Asgard, where gods and giants roam, there existed a garden of unparalleled beauty. This was the garden of Idun, the goddess of youth, whose golden apples granted the gods their immortality. Idun's orchard was a place of eternal spring, with trees heavy with fruit that shimmered like the sun, their fragrance filling the air with a sweet, intoxicating scent. One day, Odin, the All-Father, called a council of the gods. He sensed a disturbance in the realm and knew that trouble was brewing. Among the assembled gods were Thor, the mighty god of thunder, Loki, the trickster, and Freyja, the goddess of love and beauty. Odin spoke of a dark vision he had seen, a vision of the gods aging and growing weak. The gods were concerned, for they knew that without Idun's apples, their strength and immortality would fade. Loki, always eager for adventure, volunteered to investigate the source of this impending doom. With Odin's blessing, Loki set out on his journey. As Loki ventured beyond the walls of Asgard, he came upon a giant eagle perched on a high cliff. The eagle was no ordinary bird. It was Thiazi, a powerful giant in disguise. Thiazi had long coveted Idun's apples and had devised a plan to steal them. Using his magic, he transformed into the eagle and swooped down, capturing Loki in his talons. Thiazi carried Loki to his icy fortress in Jotunheim, the land of the giants. There, he imprisoned Loki and demanded that he lure Idun out of Asgard and into his clutches. Reluctantly, Loki agreed, knowing that his life depended on it. Back in Asgard, Loki devised a cunning plan. He approached Idun and spoke of a wondrous grove he had discovered beyond the Bifrost, the Rainbow Bridge. He told her that the trees there bore apples even more magnificent than her own. Curious and eager to see these miraculous fruits, Idun agreed to accompany Loki. As they crossed the Bifrost and ventured into the wilderness, Thiazi, still in his eagle form, swooped down and seized Idun along with her basket of golden apples. The giant carried them both back to Jotunheim, where he imprisoned Idun in his icy castle. Without Idun and her apples, the gods of Asgard began to age rapidly. Their strength waned, and their once immortal bodies grew frail. Desperate, Odin summoned Loki and demanded that he rescue Idun. Loki, realizing the gravity of his betrayal, swore to make amends. Using his shape-shifting abilities, Loki transformed into a falcon and flew to Jotunheim. Under the cover of darkness, he slipped into Thiazi's castle and found Idun. Quickly, he transformed her into a nut and took her in his claws. With Thiazi in pursuit, Loki flew back to Asgard with all his might. As they neared the walls of Asgard, the gods saw Loki and rallied to his aid. Thor, wielding his mighty hammer Mjolnir, struck down Thiazi, ending the giant's pursuit once and for all. Loki and Idun safely returned to Asgard, where she resumed her care of the golden apples. The gods, rejuvenated by the magical fruit, regained their strength and immortality. Though Loki had redeemed himself, the memory of his treachery lingered. The gods knew that the bonds of trust were fragile, and that even among their own, deception could take root. And so, in the land of Asgard, where the golden apples of Eden grew, the gods lived on, ever vigilant and ever wary of the shadows that lurked beyond their shining realm. The tale of Idun and her golden apples was passed down through the ages, a reminder of the delicate balance between trust and betrayal, and the enduring power of youth and renewal. The Saga of Baldur's Dream. In the ancient realm of Asgard, where gods and goddesses roamed among the golden halls, lived Baldur, the beloved son of Odin and Frigg. Baldur was the god of light, purity, and beauty, admired by all who knew him. His presence brought joy and warmth to Asgard, and his dreams were often filled with visions of hope and prosperity. However, one night, Baldur's dreams took a dark turn, casting a shadow over the once radiant god. Baldur began to dream of his own death. Night after night, the visions grew more vivid and terrifying. He saw himself lying lifeless, surrounded by weeping gods and goddesses. Disturbed by these premonitions, Baldur confided in his mother, Frigg, who was deeply troubled by her son's plight. Determined to protect him, Frigg embarked on a journey to ensure Baldur's safety. Frigg traveled across the 9 realms, extracting promises from every creature, plant, and element not to harm Baldur. She secured oaths from stones, metals, diseases, and even venomous serpents, ensuring that no harm could befall her beloved son. Satisfied with her efforts, Frigg returned to Asgard, believing Baldur to be safe from any threat. With Baldur seemingly invincible, the gods found amusement in testing his newfound invulnerability. They would throw stones, shoot arrows, and strike him with weapons, all of which bounced harmlessly off the radiant god. This display of invulnerability brought great delight to the gods, except for one, Loki, the trickster. Loki, ever the mischief maker, grew envious of Baldur's untouchable status. He sought out Frigg and, disguised as an old woman, tricked her into revealing that she had not extracted a promise from one plant, the mistletoe, which she deemed too insignificant to harm anyone. Armed with this knowledge, Loki crafted a dart from the mistletoe and returned to Asgard with a sinister plan. The gods were once again engaging in their favorite pastime of hurling objects at Baldur when Loki approached Hoder, Baldur's blind brother. Hoder had not participated in the game, feeling left out due to his blindness. Loki, feigning kindness, offered to guide Hodur's hand and give him the opportunity to join in the fun. He placed the mistletoe dart in Hodur's hand and directed him to throw it at Baldur. The dart flew through the air, striking Baldur in the chest. To the horror of the gods, the mistletoe pierced his heart, and Baldur fell to the ground, lifeless. The once joyous halls of Asgard were now filled with grief and despair. Odin and Frigg were inconsolable, their beloved son taken from them by the hand of treachery. The gods quickly captured Loki, binding him in unbreakable chains and condemning him to eternal torment. However, their immediate concern was Baldur's fate. Hel, the goddess of the underworld, held Baldur's soul in her icy realm. Odin's son, Hermod, volunteered to journey to Helheim and plead for Baldur's release. Riding Odin's steed, Sleipnir, Hermod descended into the dark and cold underworld. He traversed treacherous paths, crossing the bridge Gjallerbru, guarded by the giantess Modgud. Finally, he reached Hel's hall, where he found Baldur seated at the head of the table, his spirit as radiant as ever. Hermod begged Hel to release Baldur, arguing that his death had brought immeasurable sorrow to the gods and all of Asgard. Hel, moved by his plea but bound by her own rules, agreed to release Baldur on one condition. If every living thing in the 9 realms wept for Baldur, she would set him free. Hermod returned to Asgard with Hel's message, and the gods immediately sent messengers to every corner of the 9 realms, asking all beings to weep for Baldur. Their efforts were almost entirely successful. From gods to mortals, giants to elves, and even animals and trees, all wept for the fallen god. However, one creature refused, a giantess named Thok, who was actually Loki in disguise. She declared that Baldur's death was a loss to none and refused to shed a single tear. Because of this single refusal, Hel's condition was not met, and Baldur remained in the underworld. The gods were devastated, their hopes dashed by Loki's final act of malice. Despite their sorrow, they honored Baldur's memory, vowing to await the day of Ragnarok, when the end of all things would bring about new beginnings. It was foretold that Baldur would return from the underworld to lead the new world into an era of peace and light. Thus, the tale of Baldur's dream and his tragic fate became a poignant reminder of the fragility of life, even among the gods. His story was passed down through generations, a testament to the enduring love and sorrow that bound the gods of Asgard, and the hope that one day the radiant god would return to bring light back to the 9 realms. The Saga of Sigurd and the Fafnir. In the ancient and frost-bitten lands of the north, where the night sky danced with the luminous hues of the aurora borealis, and the whispers of old gods echoed through the fjords, there existed a hero whose name was sung in the mead halls of kings and remembered in the sagas told by the skalds. Sigurd was a young man, the son of Sigmund, a renowned hero, and Hjordis, a princess of great beauty and wisdom. Raised by the wise and cunning Regin, Sigurd was trained in the arts of war and lore. One day, Regin revealed a secret that would change Sigurd's fate forever. He told of a great treasure hoard guarded by the dragon Fafnir, who was once a dwarf transformed by greed and malice into a monstrous beast. Regan, who was Fafnir's brother, crafted a mighty sword for Sigurd, named Gram, and urged him to slay the dragon and claim the treasure. The sword, forged with the fragments of Sigmund's legendary blade, shimmered with a deadly light, and its edge was said to cut through the hardest steel. Determined to fulfill his destiny and avenge Regan, Sigurd set out on his quest. He journeyed through dark forests and over snow-capped mountains, guided by the wisdom of the runes and the spirits of his ancestors. Along the way, he encountered wise women who foretold his fate and provided him with mystical knowledge and talismans to aid in his quest. In a secluded valley, he met an old ferryman who revealed himself to be Odin, the All-Father, in disguise. Odin blessed Sigurd's endeavor, granting him a powerful charm to protect him from the dragon's fiery breath. At last, Sigurd reached the desolate plain where Fafnir made his lair. The earth was scorched and blackened by the dragon's presence, and the air was thick with the stench of sulfur. Sigurd dug a pit in the path that Fafnir used to slither to the river to drink. He hid within the pit, his heart pounding like a war drum, waiting for the beast to approach. As the ground trembled beneath the weight of the dragon's massive body, Sigurd steeled himself. Fafnir's eyes glowed with a malevolent light, and his scales shimmered like molten metal. With a deafening roar, the dragon sensed the presence of an intruder. Sigurd, with all his might, thrust Gram upwards as Fafnir slithered over the pit. The blade pierced the dragon's underbelly, the only vulnerable spot on its armored body. Fafnir thrashed in agony, his roars shaking the heavens and splitting the earth. But Sigurd held firm, driving the sword deeper until the dragon lay still, its lifeblood staining the ground. With Fafnir defeated, Sigurd emerged from the pit, weary but triumphant. He tasted the dragon's blood, and it bestowed upon him the ability to understand the language of birds. The birds warned him of Regan's treachery, revealing that Regan planned to kill him and claim the treasure for himself. Forewarned, Sigurd confronted Regan and slew him, ensuring that the treasure would be his alone. Among the hoard, he found the Helm of Awe, a magical item that granted its wearer immense power and protection. Sigurd's deeds did not end with the slaying of Fafnir. He became a legendary hero, known for his strength, courage, and wisdom. He went on to achieve many great feats, his name immortalized in the annals of time. The tale of Sigurd and the dragon Fafnir is one of bravery, betrayal, and the eternal struggle between good and evil. It is a story that has been told and retold, inspiring countless generations to face their own dragons and to seek their own destinies. As the night grows darker and the fire in the hearth burns low, remember the saga of Sigurd. Let it remind you of the strength within your own heart and the courage needed to face the challenges that lie ahead. Close your eyes and let the echoes of ancient battles lull you into a restful sleep, dreaming of heroes and dragons in a world where legends live forever. Good night.